You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 8th of August. Amid tariff dispute with US, India signals shift in global partnerships. HRCP sounds alarm over deepening human rights crisis in Balochistan. And India's protection of order giver for murders hurting ties, say Bangladeshi officials. And now for all the details. Amid the ongoing tariff dispute with the US over India's imports from Russia, New Delhi and Moscow reaffirmed their strategic partnership during security talks on Thursday between India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and Russia Security Council Secretary Sergei Shoigu. Doval noted India looks forward to President Vladimir Putin's visit by year-end. He later met Putin at the Kremlin, with Reuters reporting his agenda included Russian crude purchases and defense cooperation. Earlier, the Kremlin accused Washington of exerting illegal trade pressure on India, saying New Delhi has the right to trade with any country. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Brazil's President Lula da Silva spoke by phone, discussing US tariffs and other issues. Lula confirmed a state visit to India in early 2026, a day after telling Reuters he would raise the tariff issue within BRICS. Trump recently announced an additional 25% tariff on certain Indian imports, raising duties to 50%, alongside the same rate on Brazilian goods. Modi and Lula reaffirmed their goal of boosting bilateral trade to over $20 billion annually by 2030, up from $12 billion last year. They also agreed to expand the India-Mercosur preferential trade agreement and discussed linking their virtual payment platforms. While the Indian PMO's statement avoided direct mention of Trump or US tariffs, it said both leaders exchanged views on regional and global matters. India is signaling it may rebalance its global partnerships in response to the latest US trade action. And days after a powerful cloudburst unleashed deadly flash floods in India's Uttarakhand, rescue teams are racing against time to find the missing as locals recount moments of sheer horror. We have a report.
Locals in India's Himalayan state of Uttarakhand on Thursday recounted the horrors of the deadly flash floods, as several remain missing after the sudden inundation and landslides this week that have killed at least 4 people. Crumpled roads, blocked by boulders, posed a huge challenge for the rescue teams from reaching the village of Darali in the district of Uttarakashī, a tourist spot, after a wall of water hit the area, submerging homes and cars in sludge.
मेरे परिवार के मेरे घर के अपने ही पर्सनल लोग बच्चे हैं, मेरे 6 बच्चे हैं, और मेरे गांव के अपने ही गांव के लोग हैं। उसके बाद 21 लोग उन लोग हैं, बच्चे और बड़े मिला के 21 लोग, 26 लोग मतलब पूरा है टोटल।
देखो अब आपके कृपा से माँ के दिल में क्या गुजर रही है आपकी, सोचो थोड़ा। मैं तो मदद मांगने के लिए आई थी इधर कि जहाज पे वहाँ ले दे, छोड़ दे, हम खोजी करे, तलाशी करे, अपना बच्चा जिंदा हो देखे, ऐसे सोच के आई थी इधर, क्या करें।
Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami has assured assistance and said the destruction was massive and that the number of missing persons was still being estimated. Authorities have said about 400 people stuck in Gangotri and Uttarakhand were being rescued by air, with 9 army personnel and 7 civilians among the missing.
विभाग अपने स्तर पर डॉक्टरों की तैनाती कर रहा है, दवाइयों की वहां पर तत्काल व्यवस्था कर रहा है, भोजन इत्यादि की व्यवस्था हो रही है और राशन वहां पर पहुंचे इसके लिए जिला पूर्ति अधिकारियों की पुलिस विभाग ने लगभग 160 पुलिस के लोगों को 10 सीनियर अधिकारी और 3 एसपी रैंक के अधिकारी वहां नियुक्त किए हैं।
Meanwhile, Nepal has also initiated diplomatic efforts with India to search for the 17 Nepali workers who've gone missing in Uttarakhand floods. Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli announced on Friday as he expressed condolences. Uttarakhand is prone to floods and landslides, which some experts blame on climate change.
After a week-long visit to Turbat and Quetta, the Human Rights Commission of Pakistan has issued a stark warning over what it describes as a deepening human rights crisis in Balochistan. In its latest report, the HRCP has flagged enforced disappearances as the most urgent issue, as families of those affected recounted the horror of relatives being taken away frequently by the security forces without any legal warrant, formal charges or proceedings. The Commission says such disappearances appear to be a part of a systemic pattern rather than isolated incidents, pointing to persistent reports of kill and dump practices carried out with total impunity. The HRCP also highlighted the worsening condition of press freedom in Balochistan, with journalists working under considerable constraints. The noticeable presence of security forces has created an environment of intense fear and distrust among the residents, who feel besieged in their areas. It said this has suppressed open dialogue, dissent, and even the ability to engage in ordinary civic activities. Activists, civil society members, and lawyers warned the government over its neglect, demanding urgent, comprehensive action. Moving on, neglect and corruption continue to cripple basic infrastructure in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Locals say decades of broken promises have left vital roads in shambles, cutting off entire communities from essential services. A report.
Decades of neglect have left vital roads in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir in a crumbling state. Despite repeated promises, residents say nothing has changed for decades. Politicians make grand assurances before election, only to disappear once the votes are in. Locals accuse the government of mismanaging billions in development funds, funneling them to political favorites instead of areas in real need, leaving large populations cut off from essential facilities.
सड़क जो है वो अवामी सहूलियात में बुनियादी सहूलत है, उसको तरजीह दी जाती है, लेकिन आज़ाद कश्मीर में मुख्तलिफ़ हल्काजात में हमने देखा है कि जो सड़क है या जो ऐसे तरक्याती फ़ंड्स हैं जो वो ऐसी जगह पर ज़्यादातर नहीं लगाए जाते जहाँ पर उनकी ज़्यादा ज़रूरत होती है। अब जैसे इस रोड की बात करें तो ये बिल्कुल शाहराह श्रीनगर मेन रोड है, इसके साथ ये मुंसलिक है, लिंक रोड है इसके साथ, और यहाँ से ही ऊपर जो है ना इसका बानी सईदा का गाँव है, सरबन है, जो स्कूल है, चुनुइयाँ हैं, और भी बहुत सारे इलाके इसके साथ हैं। लोगों की बहकें हैं, लोग जाते हैं वहाँ पे रहते हैं, मुख्तलिफ़ लोग जाते हैं, और लेकिन इसकी हालत आपके सामने बिल्कुल खस्ता हाल है, ये बिल्कुल कच्ची है अभी तक, और ये तकरीबन मेरी पैदाइश से पहले की ऐसी है। यानी 25 साल गुजर गए हैं और हमारी हुकूमत को, ये हमारे जो MLAs हैं, उनको ये रोड नज़र नहीं आ सकी।
People of POJK have been waiting for years now for a better administration that could work for their development. However, corruption and ignorance in the system have become a major challenge for the growth of the region, leaving its future in dark.
And tensions between Bangladesh and India are once again in the spotlight. On Thursday, Bangladesh Chief Advisor's Press Secretary Shafiqul Alam directly accused India of offering what he called protection to a criminal responsible for ordering killings in Bangladesh, indirectly referring to former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. In a statement shared on Facebook in response to a media report in India, Alam said that the article made inflammatory comparisons and indulged in baseless conjecture. He said he believes this is a central reason that relations between the two neighbors face challenges. As the students' uprising intensified last August, Hasina stepped down and fled to India. Following her ouster, Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus was declared as the head of the interim government. Dhaka has repeatedly urged India to extradite Hasina, but India is yet to respond to the request. Moving on, Sri Lankan President Anurakumara Dissanayake informed the Parliament on Thursday that despite the ongoing discussions aimed at resolving key economic concerns, the country has not reached any final agreement with the United States regarding tariffs. President Dissanayake noted that over 25% of the country's exports and nearly 60% of its apparel shipments are destined for the US market. Keeping in mind the current economic challenges faced by Sri Lanka, trade with the US is crucial for the country, making these talks critical to the livelihoods of over 350,000 garment workers in Sri Lanka. The president said he has approached these negotiations openly and pragmatically. We have appointed a strong team and engaged in continuous dialogue to ensure that any resolution does not harm our economy, the president said. The Senaike expressed appreciation over a reduction in reciprocal tariff rates from 44% to 20%, which he described as a significant outcome of the ongoing discussions. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.